Hello, and welcome to this, which is going to be my final address, my final talk or speech as the leader of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. Tomorrow, I'm going to be participating in a ceremony, and you can participate in it too, at 8 o'clock on these same channels, YouTube and Facebook, where the new chief of the order, Eimear, will be installed. And so I'm going to read my speech because I've prepared it in advance and I want to make sure I say everything that I want to say. Behind me, you can see the beautiful banner of the order that's been made. Thanks to a member, and it's wonderful. And I'm going to read you my speech. And this is going to take about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to light a candle and send blessings to Eimear, who's over in Ireland, and chant the Arwen. And you're welcome to join in. And they will reach her across the seas over the next 24 hours in time for the ceremony tomorrow. So, what an extraordinary experience it's been guiding this very small group we started with 32 years ago to the wonderful creative community of friends and fellow spiritual seekers it has now become all over the world. As I stood as an 18-year-old on Glastonbury tour back in 1970 and was initiated as a bard into the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids by the previous chief of the order, Newen, Ross Nichols, who you can see here, to whom I'm deeply grateful for having taught me so much. When I was initiated by him, I had no idea that 18 years later, I would take on the role of the order's chief. But in those 18 years, between my time of joining and my time of serving in this role, I learned so much about the beauty and the power of this spiritual way, inspired by the Druids of old, and yet so finely attuned to the needs of our time. Over the last 3 decades, the order has grown beyond all imagining. And thanks to so many gifted souls hearing its inner call, my work as chief has been a pleasure to perform. And now the time has come to hand on this role to another. Tomorrow, on the 6th of June, Eimear Burke will become our new chosen chief, and I hope you will be able to join us online at 8 p.m. British summertime for the ceremony of installation. In June next summer, we hope we can gather as friends and fellow members in Glastonbury to celebrate this event too. I thought I was going to be giving this speech to you in Glastonbury today. In fact, 10 years ago, I travelled to this moment in time. I had been following a series of exercises stipulated in a collection of gwersi, the Welsh term we use for our order teachings. These were designed for my eyes only and created by a member who is a specialist in succession planning. I was encouraged to imagine I was in a small spacecraft that had been specially built for time travel. And I was instructed to travel to this moment in the future. Well, here I am, and here we all are. And I have to say that as I got out of my spacecraft, I didn't imagine the situation as it is today. These very unexpected circumstances we all find ourselves in. So it never occurred to me that I would be giving this farewell message over the internet. But on reflection, there are advantages to doing it in this way. Now, far more of us have the opportunity to be together in this moment. Over the last 32 years that I've been leading the order, the most incredible people have joined our merry band, and it has been an absolute joy to work with them to help co-create this community and organization. So many people have played key roles in this renaissance of Druidry and this growth of the order, and I want to honor and thank as many of them as I can. and I will do this at the great celebration we have planned for Glastonbury next year. But for now, at this moment, I want the spotlight to be on us, on all of us as a community. The Order is its membership. It's all of us, this wonderful group of souls who care about the earth, who want to lead ethical, spiritual lives, guided by the wisdom of the ancestors and of nature herself. As I now hand on the role of Chosen Chief, it is time for me to say goodbye. And yet, unlike Bilbo at his 11th birthday party when he disappears in a puff of smoke, I am not leaving the party. I shall continue to be a member of the Order, and I shall try my hardest not to be a nuisance or an eminence grise or a backseat driver, but instead I will be available to our new chief for counsel and will happily offer whatever help I can. And you know, by sticking around, this also solves a problem for me. I don't have to leave a community of friends and fellow spiritual seekers whose company I have grown to love and enjoy so much over the years. I don't need to get out my handkerchief to wipe away the tears. I'm just changing places. 2 years ago, when I announced my decision to hand on the role of chief to Eimear, at a gathering of several hundred of us in Glastonbury, I wasn't sure what the reaction would be. After my announcement, there was a second, maybe 2 seconds of silence, but then there was a spontaneous roar of applause as everyone got to their feet to support the decision and cheer Eimear. At that moment, I felt such a sense of rightness, of being completely in the flow of the unfolding life of the Order. The chief is someone who needs to make sure they provide a sense of stability and continuity, of direction and support, showing enough leadership to be present, available and visible, and yet knowing how to get out of the way and knowing that they stand in service to the community of members of which they are a part. The chief is not superior, more special or elevated than any individual member. And I believe this style of leadership has served the Order well in these last decades and will continue to do so under Eimear's direction. Over the last 2 years, I've shared with Eimear all that I know about the workings of the Order and its history. And now I can take a step back, feeling confident that it will continue to blossom and flourish under Eimear's guidance. 50 years ago, we numbered just a few dozen souls. Today, we number more than 20,000. I believe we have grown so much in these last decades because what these times demand of us is a spiritual way that combines a focus on the nourishment of the soul with a deep love for the world of nature. Druidry offers an engaged spirituality, an embodied spirituality that places just as much emphasis on the outer world as the inner world. The Order's course of development, its rituals and teachings help us to foster our inner life. But at the same time, they support us in whatever way we feel moved to help protect and restore the environment. And I feel so proud of the members of the Order and all that we have achieved. All of us who have taken up this idea, this philosophy, because right now we need people who are serious about nature and about protecting the planet. From small everyday acts of reverencing and fostering the environment to much larger projects, collectively we have done amazing things. Today, far from Druidry seeming like some arcane fringe activity, our preoccupations are now center stage. They address the most urgent and important issue of our time: how we galvanize all of our potential, practical, creative, intellectual, and spiritual, to protect and restore the earth. They address directly the gaze of Greta Thunberg and her generation, our children and grandchildren, to say, we are committed to our love of nature to the fullest extent, with all of our being, all looking towards the same horizon, a world in which every human being has enough to lead a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life, without suffering injustice, without terrible inequalities between rich and poor, without the destruction of habitats and species, without the pollution of our skies and seas. Together and individually in our own unique ways, I hope and believe that we can all fulfill these two most important aspirations of the Druid path: to care for our environment and all life, and to foster wisdom and compassion within ourselves and between ourselves. Thank you for all the support you have given me over the years. Many, many blessings. And as I'm sure we are all saying to each other right now, I hope to see you again soon. And now I'm going to light this candle and chant 3 Arwens. And the Arwen means the blessings of the gods, means inspiration. It's flowing inspiration, flowing blessings. And as I light this candle and chant these Arwens, I'm sending blessings and love and support to my successor, Eimear Burke, who's over in Kilkenny in Ireland, that she is able to fulfill her role as Chief of the Order in the best possible way. And you're welcome to do the same, of course. And as I do this, I'm going to, just before I went on air, I received a composition that an old friend of the Order and of mine, Chris Park, has just created for this moment. It's on the pipes. So I'm going to play this. And it's lovely to think that there are lots and lots of us all over the world at this moment, sending love and blessings to Eimear. And I'll finish with a blessing we sometimes say, which is a blessing on our lives, a blessing on all lives, and a blessing on the land. Goodbye.